or people that are okay with bringing kids into single parent environments, are truly the scum of the earth. What up? Welcome to Hugh Flynt's Philosophy. If you've been here before, you already know what it is. But if it's your first time, I'm gonna need y'all to bang that like button, bang that subscribe button, and ring that notification bell so y'all can rock with me every time I drop a new video. Now, I ran into this little podcast, and I don't usually review podcasts, but this one had like this modern woman, this like older, modern, successful woman going head to head with like these women that had traditional values, but obviously in a modern society. And so they wasn't really going like head to head like, you know, King Kong and Godzilla or nothing crazy. But you know, there's a little back and forth. So let's get right to it.
Because women wouldn't feel like they were just a housewife if they married, the wholesome Chad that they wanted in the first place. And that's where, my channel comes in, because women get a lot of bad dating advice. And it's like dating advice that teaches you how to date, but it doesn't teach you how to, hopefully get married and stay married. Like, that's it. Like, all they can do is get you a date. Well, not every guy that takes you out for a meal is looking to commit. And that's a big problem that I see. I think millennial and Gen Z women were really left behind by Gen X mothers. I got a bone to pick with them.
I don't know. I mean, I can't speak for that. What I will say is she makes a good point in terms of dating versus, being kept. I've been saying this, crushable versus cuffable. I mean, do you really need to teach women how to date? Like, I don't think women have a problem finding dates. I think they have a problem choosing which men to date and, which men are going to possibly take them serious, if they want to be taken serious. But if you're looking to have fun, you don't need no channel for that. Nobody, you're a woman. All you got to do is make yourself accessible. So, maybe there needs to be more channels teaching women this, but I can't say for sure.
Yeah, and so you get like these Gen X mothers. They are so narcissistic, and they think that you, the daughter, you're just going to find a man. I lived in my house with my mother for 19 years, and not once did the conversation come up, what is a good wife? What is a good husband? How do you find one? And I started asking my other girlfriends when I had like an epiphany. I think I was 25. I started asking them, like, did your mother ever talk to you about this? And most of them are telling me no, that it wasn't a conversation. So that's kind of how I've been able to figure out that, like, yeah, Gen X mothers, y'all did us dirty for sure.
That's interesting. I don't know if this is the whole reason, but I know for a fact there's a lot of older, bitter women, man. And, I talked about it, generational sabotage. They want to, subconsciously put this fear into younger women. And they just want the younger women to be miserable like them at the end of the day. I'm not saying that, all of them do that, because some of them probably do the right thing, but the majority, why do you think all of these women are running around thinking that every man they get involved with is going to do them dirty, thinking that they shouldn't be doing what they need to do to get a husband? Why are they trying to have kids without getting the ring first? This is a scarcity mindset. It's crazy.
Let's say you don't get married. Let's just say. And you're 40 years old and you've got an amazing career, but you never got married. Would that be disappointing to you?
I would be disappointed. For me, marriage is not that important anymore. I want to have a partner and I want to be with somebody. I would like to get married and get engaged and, build this life with someone.
Okay.
But that's not something that's my like sole purpose in life.
That's not what he asked. He didn't ask that. Ducking.
So if you were 40, never got married, no kids, I'm just hypothetical, no kids, but you had a good career,
I would like to
would
have
that
kids.
be enough to satisfy you?
I always wanted to be a mother, so
Okay.
I want to be a mom before I'm 40. because of like all the.
Of course, no, that's why I pose it that way.
So I would definitely want to be a mother, and I would be disappointed if I'm not a mother by 40.
How about?
Like I said, they just want the kids. They don't even want they don't want the husband. They don't want a life with somebody. They just want the kids. And people that want to bring up kids in single parent environments, or people that are okay with bringing kids into single parent environments, are truly the scum of the earth. I'm going to just say it. If you inspire to have a child or children in a single parent environment, if it happens, all right, we got to play the hand that we're dealt. But if you actually construct that environment and bring kids into that environment, you are the scum of the earth. I said it.
But you, Ali, if you never got married and you're still working on your career, let's say you're an influencer, but you're still single, would that be a disappointment?
That would absolutely be a disappointment. That's not how I want my life going down at all. And, there's something to be said about if you don't have babies, your DNA doesn't go on. And you're really just kind of like, well, life is pointless. I think kids give women purpose. And I think that we lie to women when we tell them that that's not true, that your job is going to fulfill you. It's not the same thing as watching a tiny human grow, look up at you and learn. But, I've noticed sometimes that women will say that they want kids, but they won't say that they want a specific man's kids. And I think that's an important distinction.
Absolutely. It says a lot about the woman. And also, kids give, women and men purpose. Anybody that like values legacy or just, your name continuing on, like if you're doing all of this, what is it all for? You just gonna live, make it, spend it, and then, bye-bye and be gone. So yeah, anybody that values legacy is definitely going to be inspired differently when it comes to kids.
When girls say things like men are trash, men are the problem, da-da-da-da-da, I'm like, okay, you can speak for yourself. Like, the men you pick are the problem. Because I have 5 really great brothers. I have a really great father. And so if you have an issue with men, like, that's a you problem, and don't put that on me.
By the way, that is very powerful. Go ahead, Coco.
I want to add, just because he's a good brother doesn't mean he's a good boyfriend.
Well, yeah, but that's on the girl to pick. You pick who you date. Like, if you're halfway a decent looking girl, you have a million options of who you can date. So I'm not gonna, when these girls come crying to me because they hate all the boys they chose to date, like, that's your own fault.
Yeah, it's all about accountability. But I do agree with what the modern chick said. A good brother or sister, it may not translate to a mate. And it's funny because a lot of people talk about who's good, such and such is not good enough for you, and it's not. You cannot always really dictate if your brother or sister is good enough for somebody. I mean, you might think that somebody's not good enough for your sister, but you don't know that your sister is a narcissist. You might think somebody's not good enough for your brother, but your brother is abusive. And so you can't really, you don't really know. You don't really know. However, it is your job to pick. It is your decision. And so it's your choice. And so whatever the outcome is, you got to hold that.
This must be controversial with the women like you're friends with, you grew up with. This is not like, are they like, you're a woman hater? You're like, but I'm a woman.
Okay, I've picked bad guys before too. I'm not perfect, but in every situation I've been in, I was like, you know what? That was my own damn fault.
Wow.
It usually is our fault.
Yeah.
By the way, that is really hard to do. Whether in a relationship or in the workforce, look yourself in the mirror and be like, I gotta own this L right here.
It's because of my dad. Every time I try to be emotional, my dad is like, your fault. Your fault. And he's right. Like, I just think your lot in life, it's your own fault. And if you end up alone because you can't pick men, like, that's on you.
Agreed.
Boom. Accountability at its finest.
So basically, it's giving your man authority, which is not something that's often done in society.
But give me an example.
Okay, so you're getting dressed, and your dress is a little bit provocative. Maybe you're a little bit ignorant on it. He says, you know, honey, you're showing a little bit much. I don't know if you're aware. Do you mind changing? Like, would you argue with him, or would you put on a different dress?
If I think the dress looks hot, I would wear it.
Yeah, well, that's making it about you and not your relationship. That's the opposite of willful cooperation.
Okay, so yeah, that's not me.
Right. You're not willing to cooperate. If there is ever a disagreement, if a woman is just going to do what she wants to do, then she hasn't chosen a man that she is comfortable with leading. She is basically saying, I can lead myself. If your decision is this way and my decision is that way, I'm going to go my way, which is fine. But that's the difference between a modern woman and traditional.
But you're saying, as a man, hey, babe, you know, a little much. I don't feel comfortable with this. Would you mind changing? You would change.
I would absolutely change. And it's not just about the impression that I would have out there on the world. It's protection. Because I could get the wrong kind of attention from an unhinged man.
And what would happen if you get some attention from a man?
From a man that I don't want the attention from? I'm being sexualized by a stranger. I don't want that.
But what do you mean by attention? Somebody looking at you that like...
Men are gonna look. They always look.
So what? Let them look. What?
I don't want to be sexualized by someone that's not my husband.
Okay, so...
Period. And... the look on her face, like, you could see that she doesn't even comprehend why a woman would not want to be sexualized by somebody other than her husband. It's kind of like women that dress the way they dress and go out, they only really may want the attention of one or very few men. But when they get attention from ugly bozos, then he's an ugly bozo. Ooh, creep, get out of here. Nah, nah, nah. There's no way for anybody to know. So if a woman has a husband that's able to say, hey, that's too much, he's really doing her a favor. Especially, like she said, she doesn't even want that type of attention from any man that's not her husband. But the modern woman, she can't even understand. She don't even comprehend. It's bugging. It's crazy.
Whatever, let's say the rent is 5K. It's not 5K, but let's say it's 5K. Maybe I'm going to spend 2-3K for something else. So it's not like tit for tat. So like he pays rent, but maybe I'm going to spend the same amount of money for something else.
So it's more like 50-50.
It's not 50-50 because that's just not how I was brought up and that's not how I was raised.
Okay, what would you say? It's like 80-20?
Maybe 70-30.
70-30, okay.
Is that a fair split?
I mean, it depends who you are. Like, she doesn't believe in 50-50, but at the same time, she doesn't believe in a man paying for everything. And I get it. For some women, that gives them a fear. If he pays for everything, then you're under his authority. And some women are okay with being under that man's authority, if you trust that man's authority. But if you don't, if you trust your own judgment and you trust your own guardianship over yourself, you know, you want to govern your own self, that's fine too. But the thing about it is, when you do that, the type of man you end up with is probably not going to be a man you can respect. So you can say that I don't believe in 50-50, oh, it's 70-30, and all of this other stuff because you want to retain what you deem as power. However, in the long run, you're just going to end up with a long-term boyfriend, and you're definitely going to be a single mother because you're going to have kids. He's not going to marry you. You're modern, and it's just going to be a disaster for the kids. It's crazy.
I mean, it sounds what I believe most women would expect is the 70-30. They might not say it. And I think that 70-30 is the new 50-50 because we're going to downplay the man's money versus the woman's money, if that makes sense. I think this is essentially a modern relationship, and I don't prefer modern relationships, and I think they have, you know, their own issues because I don't think there's that sweet intimacy that is between a feminine woman and a masculine man, where you just have these understanding of your roles within the home. But some people want to gender bend and they want to do their relationships how they want to do it. I know that if I had to grow up in that kind of situation where I didn't see either one of my parents, I don't think I'd be happy with that.
Exactly. Because the bottom line is that whole modern concept is not going to end well for kids. We're seeing it. We're seeing it. We're doing it. I tell my kids all the time, don't be like me. Don't have multiple families. And so the reality of it is, doing the modern way, we've been doing it for some time now, and we're seeing the results. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. So, you know, I like that she said gender bend. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not going to lie. It's about what you're strong, where your strengths lie. I mean, let's be clear. If it's a man that can do a lot of things, a lot of masculine things, a lot of manly things, but he's not really good at acquiring resources. Let's say that's his weakness. And you as a woman, you have a lot of feminine qualities, but you can get that bag too. Maybe y'all can work, but it's just something about a man not being able to get the resources. That's just, I just think it's going to make a woman in the long term not really respect him. It's not sustainable over a long period of time. So yeah, she might get the kid, but we see how those are turning out. We see how those are ending up, and it's not looking good. All right. So hit the comment box. Let me know what y'all thought about this. Before y'all slide out, bang that like button, bang that subscribe button, ring that notification bell so y'all can rock with me every time I drop a new video. You heard me?
Even major family hate me. You got a nigga, but he ain't me. Why would you betray me? I was loyal, you betrayed me. Even major family hate me. Why would you betray me? I was loyal, you betrayed me. Stupid bitch, why would you snake me? I was loyal, you betrayed me. I was loyal, you betrayed me.